Okay, so hey guys, welcome back to another Access Entity video, and in today's video I'm back with Stephen Robinson. Stephen, how are we doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm doing great, mate. It's a pleasure to have you back on, and just for anybody who don't know, am I right in saying you're a 33-year-old heavyweight who's 6-1?
Yeah.
Yep, brilliant. Okay, well, we'll just get straight into the questions then, mate. So overall, since the last time we spoke, it's been a few months now, and so overall, how's life been? Been all good?
Good. Frustrating with the boxing side of things, politics and fights falling through. Things not going to plan. But you can sink or you can swim. I'm in a fortunate position where I get to do what I want to do and train every day. So it's about keeping the right mindset and keeping focused. And it's been hard, but we've got that date and we move on. We'll keep our heads up and we'll keep pushing forward.
Of course, and just to touch a couple of questions from your last fight, and I suppose overall, how happy were you with your win and your performance in that last fight?
Yeah, performance looking from the outside probably looked shit, but we had a plan, we had a game plan. We know what Nick Campbell does. We know Nick Campbell comes out all gung-ho, very fast, and then he tends to die out. And during the sparring, we had a 6'8" guy called Arlo, who was very similar to same size, same weight, same way boxers, and everything we're done within training. I said it live on Sky Sports. I said it in the pre-build-up. I said that the fight will be stopped within the fourth round, and I wasn't wrong. So as bad as it could look from the outside, that I maybe took a few shots, but I was riding a lot of shots. They weren't catching us flush. Not one shot caught us flush. As much as people can sit and go back. And when my hands down, yes. Were the first two rounds the best of my boxing ability? No, but we got the win, and that's what matters. And as I said that would happen within 4 rounds. That's what did happen. So for me personally, everything that we had said in the gym, everything we worked on, everything we trained on, worked. I'd go on the back foot for 2 rounds, look to lift it, pick it up in the third round, and then in the fourth, put it on him. And that's what we did, and that's what happened. So for me, it worked. But from the outside and from a peer's point of view, it might not have been critiqued in the same way as it was from me and my team. There could have been a lot of faults picked up, but as I say, I was riding shots. I wasn't taking shots flush. And it may have looked a lot different on the TV as when I was in there, but as I say, personally, I didn't box the greatest, but I didn't need to box the greatest to get the win, and I proved that.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose for anybody who maybe was critiquing that performance online or anything like that, how do you kind of deal with any kind of haters you might get online?
I get them every day, and it's funny because people will look at me box rec and they'll say he's lost, and I don't look at it as a loss. I never lose. Every day I wake up is a blessing. Every loss is a lesson. And whether that be in business, whether that be in boxing, whether that be in life, I never look at a loss being a loss. I look at it as a lesson. So these people who are negative towards me, these people who, it's irrelevant to me, because I get to do everything every day, something which I, could only have dreamt and inspired as a kid with nothing. I had nothing. And when you've got no GCSEs, when you've got nothing to rely on, when you're getting to do what you want to do and be the person you want to be every day, it's a blessing. So all these people who are sitting writing things, who are sitting, they are the ones who dislike life. They're the lonely ones. Them haters are the ones who thrive upon me reacting or somebody else reacting. And for me, rather than go out and you've probably seen the new Paddy Power advert where a load of professional boxers go around the house. If you haven't seen it, it's a good advert. These people who sit on social media and they'll write things, and then what Paddy Power have done is they've used Thomas Carty, Natasha Jonas, and they've used a couple of others where they take them around the house and they beat them up.
Okay.
And it's a bit of fun. So anyone that hasn't watched that, watch the new Paddy Power advert. But for me, I don't want to. All I want to do is go around and say, like, listen, are you struggling? Are you okay? Because for somebody to jump online and put so much hate and direct so much hate on somebody else, it's clearly them who's struggling. It's clearly them who's lonely or disliking life to have to put their pain onto others. So it doesn't bother me. Like I say, I'm overachieving. I'm doing something I love to do every day. And every day is a blessing. Every day, I wake up with a roof over my head. I'm able to put food on my table. I can say, I can yell, I can taste, I can feel. I'm illness free. And unfortunately, there's people not in my position, and they're, as I say, I'm very fortunate. So one person's hate towards me means nothing. And I think that's where I differentiate from others. I don't care about losing. I don't care about anything going forward because I'm where I am. And as I say, every day I get to do what I want to do with the correct people around us, with a good team around us, with a good mindset. It's fantastic. So I don't care what, and I go in there with that mindset in the ring.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant, and that's a real inspiration. I'm sure a lot of people will look at that kind of mentality and try and copy that in a way. And I suppose, speaking of mentality, I mean, you've touched upon this already, how it has been quite a frustrating recent time for you, and having especially that fight be cancelled. And so overall, how do you kind of deal with a fight being cancelled, especially as you've been training the whole way through it and then it get cancelled?
I think me Instagram post touched on it a little bit, that nobody gives a fuck about us. Nobody cares. The people at the top don't care about what we go through physically, mentally, and financially. They as long as they're all right, as long as they're not losing money, as long as they're in a position where they can pull that fight. Unfortunately, we there's nothing in a contract to say that if this fight gets pulled, and it happens at the lowest level, it happens at the top level, and I think we've seen it recently with Josh Taylor and Catterall. I think that's absolutely disgusting with what's gone on. I think the politics of boxing, the way that these fights get ordered. The best don't want to fight the best anymore. It's not like it used to be. And the way the WBA just jumps in, or the WBO, or somebody just jumps in and just changes that. I personally think the whole Catterall thing is one of the most disgraceful things to happen in boxing. And you see the likes of Misfits, and you see all these things coming in, and a lot of people are critiquing that, going, well, it's a load of shit for boxing. If anything, that's good for boxing. Two reasons why: one, it's bringing more viewers on board, and two, because there's no politics involved in it. They're just putting people in with whoever they're calling out, whatever's being said, whatever's been going on TikTok or Instagram or Twitter. They're getting them put in, no matter what level they're at, no matter what they do. They're getting them put in. They're making them fight, and that's the end of it. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen with boxing, and that's the same as with shows. It's the politics of what's going on behind the scenes, and if there's a risk of that show not making X amount of money, 4 days before I got told that show wasn't going ahead, the Tuesday night show was meant to be going ahead on the Friday. But funnily enough, I had somebody So my gloves, I'm sponsored by Rival for my gloves, and I had somebody from Rival contact me on the Monday, sorry, on the Saturday. Say, Stephen, are you sure this fight's going ahead? I think so.
Yeah.
Because I've been involved with boxing for 15 years, and there's nothing sanctioned for a title. There's nothing sanctioned for the show go ahead. There's nothing sanctioned anywhere. So I rings my manager. I said, "Listen, mate, are you sure this show's going ahead?" He rang the show promoter, and yeah, 100%. I think they knew then that show wasn't going ahead, but they waited to see what financial backing they could get, and didn't care about us going through a camp, didn't care about what we had been through financially, didn't care what we had been through physically, mentally, what it would do to her. Pull the show, see you later, sorry the show's not going ahead. And it did mess up my head a little bit. And like I say, I was £4,000 down of personal money from sparring partners, from physiotherapy, from nutrition. Then obviously your coach is waiting for his 10%. Your manager's expecting money. You bank on that money, and you've put money in your head. You've paid for things and waiting for that money to come in, and like £4,000 just gone. And regardless of the money, it's what you're doing to your body for 6 weeks of sparring. Sparring with that 18, 19 stone men, pummeling you in the head 3 times a week for 10 rounds. And what you're doing to yourself, your joints, your muscles. And unfortunately, like I say, nobody gives a damn about us. All they think about is themselves. And I've realised, I've been professional now for 4 years, I've realised we're just a number. And I've come to accept that. We are just a number. We're a pawn in a game of chess, and they'll build you up to get to there, and then if you don't perform when you're there, they'll shoot you straight back down, and they're not there to pick you up when you're mentally down, because when you lose, it's mentally one of the worst places you could probably go. And have you not got a good team around you? And that, I think we've seen it recently with Robbie Davis Jr. When the kid's in a dark place, the kid's not well, and what help's he getting? The only help he's getting is people taking videos, laughing at him, sending them, going viral. Look at Chris Eubank Senior, going to these talks, and people are doing videos, laughing the head off at him. Like, he's not well, and we've seen it in the football side of things with Paul Gascoigne, and there's too many people who just want to see people fail. They don't care about us mentally. They don't care about how we're going to feel about something. And I've come to accept that. And the sooner you can accept that, the further you'll go, the better you'll go, the quicker you'll get to places, because it's hard. It really is hard to accept, but it's like anything in life, whether you're at work, whether you're a manager at McDonald's, whether you're starting fresh at McDonald's, you're just a number, and your jobs is easily put on, given to somebody else if you're not performing, or if you fail to reach your targets, and it's the exact same in boxing.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose that kind of mindset that you may have, does that kind of link to maybe you wanting to always have these entertaining contests for your fans, and to, I suppose, keep you on these shows?
Yeah, I mean, I've come to realise I'm not getting any younger, but at the same time, I'm blessed that I live the lifestyle. I've never drank, I've never smoked, I've always been involved in sports. And you look at the likes of Pulev, Povetkin, Lucas Brown, You've seen Joe Joyce at 38, 39 still performing. He only turned pro at 33. Audley Harrison, David Price. The way training is now, the way nutrition is now, the way, everything is adapting. It's happening in all sports. Like, everyone thought Ryan Giggs was just a freak of nature for being able to go on till he's 38, but now you've got the likes of Ibrahimovic still performing at 41, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi. These are still winning the Ballon d'Or. These are still winning. Coming top of the goal scoring division. So age is definitely just a number now. So people sit there and yes, there's kids who are 23, 24, 25 coming up, and that's great. That's fantastic. But I won't look at my age and go, oh shit, I need to get there now because I've only got a year left in the sport. I've probably got 6 years left in the sport with the way I live my life. And, the way I am as a person and the way I live and breathe the sport, I've got 5, if not 6 years, and I don't worry about time. I don't worry about, but at the same time, I know my worth. I know where I need to get to. As I say, that loss wasn't a loss. It was a lesson. I bounced back from that and beat a 5-0 Scottish heavyweight, and I'm going to fight another 5-0. And me style and training and tactics will have to change a lot. I'll have to box a lot differently, but I know where I want to get to. I know where I get to. I'm ranked, I think, 13th in Britain, 125th in the world. I get this win June 24th. That's going to put us up again. And why can't I get a British title shot by the end of the year? I can't, because it goes off rankings, so there's no reason why I can't. So, we'll get this win in, and we'll see where we can go from there, and what titles we can look towards by the end of the year.
Of course, and I suppose you've kind of touched upon the politics of boxing, but just to kind of speak about the whole kind of fiasco that was the British title and the Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark thing not happening. What was your kind of thoughts on that?
It was hard. It was hard to watch from the outside because it's like it's bringing in the politics of boxing, making us as fighters look like dicks. And I know Fraser on a personal level, and I know Fraser would be more than happy to take that fight. I think a lot of fighters, we don't get into the sport to become millionaires because it doesn't work like that. Yeah. Until you're there, you're never going to be a millionaire. We get into the sport for our love of fighting, our love of being. We're a bit messed up in the head if truth be known, and I know Fraser would have wanted that fight, but unfortunately, those people behind closed doors not wanting that fight early on, and I can see why they didn't want that fight this early on in his career. Going from fighting nobodies and stopping them in 2-3 rounds to going and fighting a good, well-seasoned pro and possibly going 10 rounds. It's a big difference. So I can see why they've done it. Financially, they've put a lot of money into Fraser, building him up. So, as I say, you can see from the business side of things why they've done it. And I'm sure that fight, or Fraser will get his British title shot, whoever may have it at the time, in the next few fights. As good as his amateur pedigree was, he's still learning in the pro game, as am I, as is anybody. And I think Fraser will get that shot in the next 3 or 4 fights against whoever it may be who has that title, because he's a very good fighter. I think we've seen that, and I think he knows his worth as well, which I think he was frustrated. But at the same time, the people who are backing him know where he needs to go and they've got a path for him. And that's why they're financially supporting him to get him there. So, as I say, it was frustrating to see from the outside, but when you know what's going on and when you know the politics and when you know the business side of things and when you know how it works, you can see why it happened. But from a person on the outside, I can only imagine why it was so frustrating.
Definitely. And so now, just to speak about this upcoming fight you've got, of course, it's on a big card, and it's June 24th, so not too far away now. But you've got a decent amount of time to have a good camp. It's not short notice, and so how's preparations overall been going?
Prep's good. As I say, I live in the lifestyle. I diet all year round. As much as people go, you're heavyweight, you don't have to diet. I come in at 109 kilo every fight, between 109 and 111. I make sure that I'm on weight, because that's my performance weight. That's where I perform best at. I've been sparring 3 times a week. Been getting plenty sparring in. This fight got confirmed 2 weeks ago to us. So it's a good 5 and a bit weeks for the camp. So that's more than enough. And I'm sure the guy Franklin will be doing everything to get that win, to boost his rankings. He's a good boxer. He's technically good. So I know that I have to change my style. I know I have to change my tactics. And we'll come 24, so I'll give him too much away. We'll see again what I've been working on, and you'll see a different Stephen to what you've seen in the last fight, and the fight previous to that, and we'll take away the Shane Gill lesson. I performed differently in all my fights the way I've had to, and I've adapted, and I'm fortunate where I feel like I can adapt and I can change my style. So as I say, June 24th you'll see a different Stephen.
Good to hear. And of course, you're on a big card up in Newcastle, and there's been a few big cards up and around there recently. Of course, your one on Fight Zone was going to be there, and the DAZN have been up there recently. And so what have you kind of made of the development of fighting in the Northeast?
I think Newcastle's been overlooked for a long time. You just have to look at what we've got up and coming at the minute, what we've had, and for some reason Newcastle has been overlooked. It seems to be from Manchester and further down south at all the sort of the only people who get a look in. But we've got Olympians, we've got medalists, you've got about 10 names who could become world champions at the minute, who are signed with Sky, with DAZN, with Fight Zone, with Wasserman. And then you've got the people, the likes of Thomas Patrick Ward. You've got the people like Troy, who are just sort of in the background at the minute, who have taken losses but are still there and are still just waiting for that phone call to come along and again put the Northeast on the map. We're a tough nation. We're a tough, proud town. We love the sport of boxing. I think whenever anybody comes up, you have to see that, to see the publicity that the shows get, to see what type of atmosphere the shows are, and I think it's a start of from last year. I said it on an interview when Newcastle got took over in the October. And the Sky were at the show, and I fought Reece Barlow, and there was 11,000 people, sold out arena there to see Savannah Marshall. And I think that sort of made people realise how much love the Newcastle people have for the sport and have for the locals. It's a massive, massive support of town. Whether it be football, whether it be boxing, whether it be rugby, whatever it may be. So, as I say, it's good to see that there's people willing to come up with it and give North East a try, and to show what we're about. And hopefully, it's been a long time coming, but I think the names we've got signed up at the moment and the names we've got out there, and you know, you've still, like I say, you've got Troy, you've got Tommy Ward, you've got all the other kids up and coming, and then you've got Lewis Ritson, Robert Ismay, who've taken those losses but are still up there waiting for that next big call to happen, because they're still there, ready to bounce back. So, hopefully we can see another card soon within the North East after this one, and get it going again. Just keep the momentum, keep the ball rolling, especially with the Champions League and everything that's happening at the club at the moment. Newcastle is such a city to be involved in.
Definitely. And so I suppose just for yourself, I don't know how much you could possibly speak about this, but I mean, you've been possibly fighting on Fight Zone, Wasserman's with Now, you've had the fight on Sky. Can you really say what kind of promotional company you're working with at the moment?
So I'm still with Sky. Okay. I'm still on the Boxer website, but at the same time that I've got my own manager. So you're a free agent, really. But if you get given a date off Sky, if you get told you're on a Sky show, you're on a Sky show. And Sky were meant to be up on the 24th of June with Sav, but unfortunately that got changed, and Savannah got moved to the Manchester card, and Wasserman were coming up. So it's good. It's similar to the likes of Dave Allen, where you've seen him on 3-4. Your eggs aren't all in one basket. But at the same time, you respect the person who's putting the food on your table, and if the phone goes, whether you're an away fighter or an home fighter, or you're fighting somebody else on Sky, just like the Nick Campbell fight, obviously, we flicked a coin to see who was the home or the away fighter, but it was, we're both put under pressure of whoever loses pretty much loses the contract, I think. And I had already had a loss. So it was a big night. But again, it's the politics of boxing that I don't really know too much about, to be fair. That's all to do with Mark, my manager, and he deals with all that, and he just tells me a date and tells me where I'm going to be fighting. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, of course. Okay, well, thank you very much, Dennis, man. I'll leave with this final question, which I always like to ask. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Is there anything else you'd like to shout out?
Well, just a massive thank you to yourself, and without the people like yourself and other companies who spend their time to get me on board, it's we appreciate you as much as you appreciate us. So just a huge thank you to you, Axel. I appreciate it.
Legend, mate. It's been amazing, and I'm sure a bit further along down the line we'll come and catch up again.
Yes, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Okay, and so if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like if you do need like